What's up, everybody? My name is Kiefer, and welcome back to the Forgotten City. So, if I remember correctly, we've arrived in some weird version of Rome. There's an election going on. The current magistrate is up for re-election against some... Is the other guy's name Romulus, I believe? But both of the magistrates kind of suck. We are from the future, obviously, and so we know that somebody breaks the golden rule. And the golden rule, well, we actually don't know what the golden rule is. We just know that if someone does something bad, that everyone in the entire city will get turned to gold. But we don't actually know what qualifies as bad, and so it's kind of ambiguous. Yeah, and then we were talking to that woman, and she said that some guy had a weapon and that we should meet in here, and then there's a voice whispering to us, and when she said we should meet in here, the voice whispered no, but the lady went in anyways, and then she died. As you can see, she's underneath this, so that was a little bit odd. So we're trying to figure out who is whispering to us from the ethereal plane. We need to figure out what is causing the golden rule. Like what actually is the thing that turns everybody to gold? Like where does that power stem from? Because I know they believe it's, I forget which god, but they probably believe it's just one of their gods, but I feel like that's too obvious of an answer. So is this a person? And they're just using him as decoration? Is that what's happening here? Yeah, see, that's the whispering. So we don't know who that is. This is the current magistrate.
Citizen.
He's kind of a dickhead, but not as much of a dickhead as the new magistrate. But there's a third guy, and I forget his name, and there's a side quest, I believe, that we can get him elected as magistrate. And so that would honestly be the most ideal. And then there's a guy that they're keeping in the cage because they think he's They think he's gonna break the golden rule, and so they've trapped him in a cage, and they're just gonna leave him there. Which begs the question of what the golden rule considers to be a bad thing. Because imprisoning somebody for their entire life because they might do something, I don't know if you can say that that's morally right, but it depends on what moral system you're using, and then again it comes down to what is the driving...
Hey, you're not thinking about going into the cistern, are you?
Why not?
Contrary little cap at murder, aren't you? Nobody's told you about Hannibal. Ugh. Why do
You haven't done shit but do push-ups this entire time,
there was
bro.
this guy called Hannibal, right? Funny accent. Used to go down into the cisterns looking for junk he could clean up and sell. One day, a few weeks back, he comes out and tells me the cisterns are haunted. Said he could hear spirits wailing. Of course, nobody believed him, because who trusts a Carthaginian, right? Anyway, a few days later, he goes back in. And hours go by, and he hasn't come back out, yeah? So I go down after him, and it's dark. But in the distance, I can just make out his body, sprawled out on the ground, and hunched over him was something that made my blood run cold. No word of a lie, I saw a creature. Like the corpse of a man who'd been flayed, and it was eating Hannibal.
So if that's true, yeah, does that only apply to humans?
If it was a man, maybe. but I swear on my life this was no man. More like a Strix, or some Versipellus that feeds on human flesh. I didn't stick around to see which.
What did
What
you
any
do?
sane person would have done. I legged it out of there and put a sign at the door to warn the others.
I don't see any sign there. What is it? I
Without a
kind of
weapon?
want to go down there.
Well, it's your funeral.
Did you put he lied. There is no sign here. There is literally Oh, is there a sign here? There is a sign here. All right, well, we definitely want to go down here. We'll save just to be safe. What happens? What happens if we go down to the cistern? Oh, okay, goodbye. Peeled statue? What the fuck? No, thank you. Well, we'll need to find a weapon. Does this guy have a weapon I can steal? Wasn't there somebody up here that had a weapon? Oh, this is the guy we like, isn't it?
Salve.
Who does? So these were the guys talking about the weapons, right? Let's talk to these dudes.
I can't believe she is dead. Fabia, I mean. She walked into that empty shrine, and the next moment she is lying dead under a pile of rubble. The gods are cruel and unjust. She was like a daughter to me. I'm sorry, friend. It's not right for me to lay my burden upon you. I can't believe she is dead.
Yeah, Fabia. She's the one who
She
walked into that
empty
shrine.
And the next moment she is lying dead under
We
a pile
tried
of
to
rubble.
stop her. She just
The gods
didn't
are cruel
listen.
and unjust. She was like a daughter to me. I'm sorry, friend. It's not right for me to lay my burden upon you.
Is that all you have to say? Okay, you're not helpful. Where isn't there somebody else here you were talking to before? There were people talking here, but who was it that was talking? A recipe for bread. A loaf of bread. Was it you? Let's talk to Virgil.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. You arrived on a sad day, friend. What with Julia's death? I wish we could have met under better circumstances. Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about
that
the
makes you
ingenious architecture
sus
or mysterious history of this
because
place.
you're either bad at your job or you're responsible for that.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery.
Oh, maybe it's talking about a
Given the way it's
different
positioned
temple,
so
but
prominently, looking
oh yeah, it
down
was a
on us,
shrine that
it's clear
collapsed.
that
But
whoever
if you're in
built it
charge
felt
of
it was the most
stopping things
important
from
temple in the
collapsing on
city.
people,
Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the golden rule?
Okay, so
Unless
they don't know
somebody
where it comes.
figures out
Actually,
the
I
way
think the
inside.
magistrate told us
I
that.
suppose we'll never know.
Tell me about the city's
Oh, I'm
history.
glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
Yeah, but that's not the same
I'm
thing.
not sure. It could mean that the Romans who first started building here were just copying Greek architecture, which they do all the time. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which
I mean, that would
begs
make the most sense,
interesting
right?
question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
See, so I don't remember what I was gonna say. God damn it. Oh, what I was gonna say is that doesn't that make the most sense that there were Greeks living here before the Romans? Because we got pulled out of the present day into this same cave, and then we just took a portal to go back in time to get here. But the river is still sucking people out like 2,000 years later, right? So I would assume that, yeah, it makes sense that this place has been here a long time before the Romans too. This place is probably like the origin of Earth or something.
Gladly.
Tell me about the
Personally,
architecture.
my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake and allows us to fish and farm. Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
This guy kind of looks like Dr. Mike.
Of course.
We just kind of talked
Some
about
people
that.
say
What do you
it's
know about the
divine,
golden, or what do
the
you
work
think
of a
about the
god.
golden rule?
But I'm not so sure. It just seems so flawed to me. Like it's distinctly human.
That's an interesting
Once you've
thought.
been here long enough, you'll notice people doing things that just seem so wrong to you. But this
Yeah, that's what I
so-called
was
god
saying.
doesn't seem to care. Which means one of two things. Either you don't know the difference between right and wrong, or this unknown god doesn't. And I'm pretty sure I know the difference. Do you?
Well, I mean, it's not really objective. It depends on which moral system you're using. I'll say yes.
Then I hope you'll agree that there are only two ways of dealing with unfair rulers.
You
The
fucking
first
kill
is to
him.
leave. The second is to remove the ruler from power. And it seems leaving may not be an option.
How do you remove a
Good
god
question.
from power?
It's best if I say no more, but I hope you'll give it some thought.
Why does someone
Look,
think you're a
I haven't
sinner?
done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company. And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance.
Yeah, I
saw
believe the
enough friends
Greeks
killed or
were a
driven
little
away
bit more
to know the cost of not keeping
gay.
your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world, with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi. Nice of you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am.
Yeah, the Greek
Or
and
at
Roman
least I
gods were
thought
all
that
like
was the
super
case.
gay.
It seems I was wrong. It's not just graffiti. I have quite the collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultists?
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a
Yep.
sin. Can you believe
Never
that?
mind.
If
Cultist
there
is
are
the
any of
most
them
accurate
here,
thing
they
I've
won't
ever
admit it.
heard in my life.
Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the golden rule.
Yeah, this person leaving the graffiti is currently my #1 suspect.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless.
Well, bro,
I'm
like you
glad
just
arrived
said,
when you
they're
did.
they're walking a
I'd
line to
start by
break the
figuring
golden
out who
rule,
the
and that
cultists
fucks
are.
all of us. So
Or maybe ask
I don't know
around
how
among the
selfless it
merchants here.
is.
Someone who lives or works in the forum
Kind of a
must
necessity.
have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
Who are you gonna
Well,
vote for?
Malleolus is talking about loosening some of the restrictions in this place. And while it's all a bit vague, at least he has a vision. My vote isn't for sale, if that's what you're asking.
And let's just
You
ask
wouldn't
just to
believe
see.
how often the new ones ask that question. But I tell you the same thing I tell everyone else. There are much worse places to live out your days. You
Yeah,
might have
I
a
don't
few
think
sleepless
anybody
nights
here really
thinking
cares
the
about
golden rule,
leaving.
but once you get used to the fear,
Either they don't care, or
knowing
they've
that a
given up
single slip
hope
up
that
could cost
that you
everything,
can.
It's not too bad. Nothing new to me, anyway.
What do you mean?
Oh, I just mean I grew up in the Batavi tribe, far to the north in Novio Magus, and learned to expect a bit of hostility. They weren't nearly as tolerant as the Romans.
Alright,
Nice
well,
to talk to you.
nice to meet you, Virgil. Sinner. No, that's where we came in. I'm getting major Dune vibes from the whispering voice. What is back here? Is that a zip line? Interesting. So is there anything up here? What's down here? Let's go deeper. And let's hope we don't run into any more fucking skinwalkers. Let's actually save. Why is everybody always looking behind them? Was I right in the first episode? Is it like a volcano eruption and it just turns everybody to gold? Because everybody's like turned around looking in fear. But like by the way they've explained it, I would expect that you just poof are gold now. Man, this place is creepy. Money and wine. Possibly the last bottle of wine in the city. Well, now we got it. Yeah, see, why is, like, if you got turned to gold, what are they cowering in fear from? I don't understand. If only they could support my weight. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, let's head back. It doesn't look like there's anything we can do back here right now. Which way were we going? Yes. Have we been here before? Man, there are a lot of people that have been here before. Who will guide me? Can you stop playing the pronoun game? An old scroll in which the author makes the case against the existence of the Golden Rule. The Myth of the Golden Rule by Duratas the Younger. As per our custom, I shall begin by paying my respects to the god responsible for this city. For our continued prosperity and tranquil seclusion, he deserves our admiration. But here I must depart from custom, for his attempt at imposing strict rule upon us is oppressive and overreaching, and deserving of our contempt. Who among us is not awoken at night in a cold sweat, fearing some sort of accidental transgression of the golden rule? All of us must accept that we are all capable of error, whether from a momentary lapse in judgment or a conscious decision based on faulty reasoning. Yet the great threat, the sword of Damocles, that we live under is, I believe, merely a deception, and I shall prove it to you. Let me begin by dismissing the counter-arguments. First, it may be argued that the inscription stating, "The many shall suffer for the sins of one," is evidence that the golden rule is very real. But that is logically unsound, for we cannot assume the writers knew any more than we did. That this message was inscribed does not make it true any more than if I were to inscribe, "Duratas the Younger is a god." Second, it may be argued that the statues in this place are evidence that the Golden Rule is real. You need not remind me of that. It was I who discovered them all around this city. It was I who collected them, placed them in the handcart, and placed them in niches. Placed them in the niches in which they sit today. I will not soon forget them, and yet I refuse to leap to the conclusion that they were once real people. There is simply no evidence to support that conclusion. When we read the story of Venus bringing the Pygmalion sculpture Galatia to life, we do not believe it is true. Why should we take a different view here? But ultimately, these arguments are just that. After years of living in fear, there is only one way for me to prove that the Golden Rule is a falsehood, and that is through action. Friends, I apologize in advance for this, but one day you will see this moment as a turning point in our city's history. Let us see, once and for all, that the Golden Rule is as real as I strike one of you with my fist. Let us see once and for all if the Golden Rule is real as I strike one of you with my fist. And is he frozen, punching? Okay, that's cool. No? So is there a statue of someone punching somebody else? What's down here? Oh, it's Virgil. It'd be easier to find you if you could tell me who you were. Did he just look at me? Am I insane? I actually don't know. I genuinely have no idea. That was weird. Yeah, it's weird that there's this tunnel system back here. that connects everything together.
Galerius?
Horatius? Looking a bit troubled there.
Still no sign of Scintilla. And I haven't slept right in 3 weeks.
Don't be too hard on yourself. From what I hear, nobody saw it coming. Anyway, I thought you Stoics weren't supposed to worry about things you can't control.
Yeah, but I keep thinking, what if there is something I can do? What if she's out there somewhere suffering, waiting to be found?
Sounds like you're torturing yourself. Leave that for the gods. Try to relax, get some rest. Tomorrow's a new day.
I suppose you're right.
We haven't talked to you before.
I
Name's
love your
Rufius.
clothes.
Better watch your
So
step.
exotic.
Salve.
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but... family's from Solution on Tigris. Babylon province.
Thanks for
I've been
not
running a
looking
long
at
time
me,
now.
actually.
Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads. Same way as everyone else.
Yeah, that's the pattern. The river is bringing
Because we're
everyone
all in
here.
grave danger. Is it not obvious? Magistrate made me toss it in the chasm. Stupid. Going to have to improvise now. If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
What are you dealing with? Could you tell me?
None of your business. In Troite ipsum commensula.
Alright.
If we have to.
Who are you gonna vote
Meliodas.
for? I don't care about anything
Not
else.
sure I trust Sentius. Couldn't even protect his daughter
What?
in a city without sin. How's he going to protect us? Time to go to the theater.
Alright, well, it looks like the election's starting. Let's follow everybody. Who watches through their eyes? I thought that was a statue, bro.
Citizens, we have a quorate body of voters gathered here to elect the city's magistrate. The
Don't mind me.
candidates are Sextus Sentius Imperiosus and Marcus Malleolus Gurges. As agreed, we shall dispense with ballots and candidates will abstain from voting. Let's make this quick. As I say your name, call your vote. I'll start with you, Horatius.
Sentius, of course.
Georgius,
Malleolus!
Dacius,
Malleolus.
Galerius,
I abstain. I'm just here to observe.
Virgil,
Meliodas.
Rufius,
Malleolus.
and finally, Domitius.
Malleolus. Who else?
I wonder who's gonna win.
You have made your decision. Your new magistrate is Marcus Malleolus.
I haven't
Gurges.
actually talked to him yet.
Hail, Magistrate
This guy made him
Malleolus.
sound a lot better than everybody else, though.
I said, Hail, Magistrate Malleolus.
You're goofy.
That's more like it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate. And now, I make this solemn promise to you, good citizens. Under my leadership, you will finally enjoy the freedom you deserve. No more shall you walk on eggshells, fearing simply to live and breathe, because the tyrant Sentius told you it was forbidden. For my first act as magistrate, I hereby announce a day of celebration to mark the end of an era. The myth of the Golden Rule is no more.
The Golden Rule is real, you idiot.
For his attempt to deceive us all, Sentius is hereby found guilty of
This is
treason
not gonna end
against
well.
the Empire.
What? I have committed no crimes. This is madness.
His sentence: to fight for his life in gladiatorial combat against Domitius. Here and now for your entertainment.
God damn.
No idea what you're doing. You're going to get us all killed.
Wait. I exercise my right as a Vestal priestess to pardon him. I will not allow you to do this.
You're showing your true colors now, priestess. Your corruption sickens me. Domitius, ignore her. Proceed.
This is insanity. You'll doom us
Yeah,
all.
so is this just gonna turn everybody to
Lies.
gold?
It is time the Golden Rule was exposed for what it is. A children's fable, exploited by a treacherous leader to instill fear in all of us.
Isn't this literally
This is
where
why
the
things
tablet
don't be
was?
They've been planning this all along.
Shut up, all of you. The magistrate has spoken. I'm going to enjoy killing you, old man.
The many shall suffer for the sins of the one.
Oh, the statue's alive. Oh, they're becoming gold, I see. Where's Sentius? Damn, he's quick. Oh, is he gonna do the ritual? Did he already? What? How is he already? I guess we're going back again.